Welcome back to Learn Astrology with Mary. My name's Mary English. You can find me at www.maryenglish.com, maryenglish.co.uk and UK Astrologer. Now I have to apologise this week. It is still very hot in the UK and it's very difficult to be indoors and not die of heat exhaustion. Don't forget, British people, of which I am one, aren't very good in hot weather for any length of time, and we've had heat here for, I've lost count now, I know it's all of this month and we're the 19th today, and we had a heat wave last month and I think we had one in May. So yeah, I'm hot, so you're really going to have to ignore the background whir of the fan. It's not aircon, it's just a fan, but it does stop me from dying of heat exhaustion when I'm talking to you. Now, 116 of you have listened to and downloaded episode 500 with the competition, but as yet, no one has entered and got in contact with me and attempted the reverse engineer chart. So it would be lovely if you would, and don't worry if you don't get it right. At least give it a go, because it's something that you'll do in private practice, because occasionally people will talk about dates of birth and things, and or you'll hear things on the news and whatever, and you'll come across the necessity to do this. So I do recommend you doing it, but don't forget there's prizes. And so if you are of one of those 116 people that listened last week and downloaded and haven't entered or tried, then I urge you to do so, because just giving it a go will be worth it. If you're a bit stuck and you're not sure about it, then I'm always quite friendly. You can email me, mary@maryenglish.co.uk, and I will always reply. Now, we had a volunteer for that very chart, and I was going to do their chart, episode 502, but the person that I am organising for an interview, who is the owner of the Astro diary, the moon diary, that I have mentioned on quite a few previous podcasts because I use it and it's fabulous. We're not speaking until, so I couldn't find it because I've had to put her in the week after, so we're not speaking until Tuesday the 28th of July, which means that you won't be able to hear that interview until Sunday the 2nd. Anyway, it's the thing when one is inviting guests, they're not going to drop everything and come onto the podcast. They need a bit of time. So what was going to be next week's episode, I don't even know why I'm telling you this, but anyway, what was going to be next week's episode 502 was to talk about the chart that you will be reverse engineering. Anyway, because of the way that things are going, and Mercury's retrograde anyway, and I like to do things whenever, we are now going to cover that chart today. So the lady concerned sent me an email. Now, I'm not going to reveal how old they are because that's part of you reverse engineering it. But these are the questions that she's asked, and we're going to go through them with the chart. So I will once again upload this chart to the show notes. So if you're listening on YouTube, then you need to go to astromary.libsyn.com and you'll see the chart on there. So these are the questions that she's asked, and we are going to answer them, because when you start to work with clients, and let's assuming you've worked with a few friends here or there, when people are paying you money, like real money, to do readings, the most important thing you can ever do for a client is to answer the questions that they have come to you because of. Now, no one, absolutely no one, goes for reading and pays good money with anybody, psychic or whatever, when they haven't got a question. The thing that motivates someone to have a reading is they've got a question. And it could be as simple as, I want to know what happens in the next 6 years of my life, or I want to know why that happened when it did. There will always be a question. Even the people that are having readings for supposedly entertainment purposes. So sometimes you might be employed to do readings at now I've done this a few times, what do you call them, when people get married, hen parties. In fact, I've done stag parties as well. That was a bit different. But yeah, so you might be doing events and stuff. And even if you're reading for someone for 10 minutes, I've done that as well, there will still be a question. And even if they haven't actually asked you the question, if you manage to answer that question for them because you're doing psychic readings or something, they will really rate you in high esteem. Okay. So it's really important. Now, when you book with me, part of the booking app, so you click to my website, marriage.com, you click on the book your appointment with Mary thing. You've got a choice of things you might want to do, which might confuse you a bit. If you're stuck, then just go for the gold reading. When you've booked that and it's starting to ask you things like your date of birth and whatever, there's another box that's what do you need to know in this particular reading. So the actual wording of it is, let me get it now. The actual wording in the box, this is what I do. Please give me a brief outline of your needs for this session. And sometimes people just write, I want to know what's coming up. And sometimes people will give me heaps of information. And sometimes people will do whatever it is. You fill out that box, you put in there the things that you would like to discuss. And in all the zillions of years that I've been doing readings, no one has left that box blank. It might be that as you're proceeding through the booking, it possibly, because I think it's a starred one, you have to put something in there. But the minimum amount that somebody's put in there is that I need to know about, and they've put job, work, wife, relationship, boyfriend. They put something in there. So the point I'm making is that you need to answer the questions. So before I even go into so let's give her a name. So let's give Sharon a name. That before you read for Sharon, and hello Sharon, I know you're not called Sharon, we're going to answer those questions. Before you even look at the chart, you need to make those questions, you write them down. I actually, for myself, I put them on my desktop. So those questions that are written in the box, I put them on my desktop. And before I even start the reading, I read out to the client, you have written that you would like, I don't say it like that, but today you've asked about and I'll run it through them. Because then that sparks a conversation. Because otherwise, what happens, and I know this because I've had readings with other astrologers, the consultation opens up and they immediately launch into your ascendant is this, your moon is that, your sun is the other, and like you don't know anything about astrology and you're going, yeah, right. Okay. So you get the conversation onto the things that are important for the person. So number one, and this is a very important question for 99.9% of any person you're ever going to read for, is what direction can you see the best jobs for me in this trimester of my life? Okay. Now, jobs, as we know, is 6th house and 10th house. But a job isn't who a person is. So if you then, with your reply to your client, launch into, well, in your 10th house, you got this, this, and that, and the other, and then you go to the 6th house, and in your work house, you got ... You are not doing astrology. You're doing something that you've learned. You're not answering the question. So question number one, what direction can you see the best jobs for me in this trimester of my life? You do not waffle on about the 10th or the 6th. You look at who the person is. So in this chart example, and thank you very much for sending us your chart, Sharon, we've got the sun in Scorpio in the 12th house. It's pointless going on what's in the 10th if you've got sun in the 12th. And you've got Neptune there, and Venus, and Mercury. Mercury's in a different sign, it's in Sagittarius, because the ascendant is Sagittarius, 7 degrees. But the sun is sandwiched in between Neptune and Venus. This is not someone that wants to stand on a stage with 3,000 people in the audience and sing a song. Oh, no, 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 no. What's the 12th all about? The 12th is the hermit house. I think I mentioned that last week, actually, when I was introduction. It's the house of the hermit. It's the section of the chart where the person does not want to be in the limelight at all. Even if, and I've had charts like this, the sun sign is Leo with a Leo ascendant, they do not want to be in the public eye. So it would be pointless suggesting to somebody, because this is what this person also has in their 10th house. Oh, you've got 3 planets in your 10th. You've got Uranus, Pluto and Mars, and your MC's up there, and it's all in the sign of Virgo, and I think you should be this, that and the other. No, you've got to look at who the person is, because it ain't going to make any sense for them. So if we go to Donna Cunningham's lovely list, which if you want a copy of this list, please email me, Mary@maryenglish.co.uk, and I'll give it to you. She says for 12th house, hospital staff, institutional personnel, workers in long-term care facilities, priest, nun, which is why I was talking about hermit earlier, ashram staff, yoga or meditation teacher, psychic, staff of alcohol or drug treatment program, residents for the disabled or halfway house, corrections workers, which I'm not too sure what a corrections worker is. Oh, it's an American term. It's a prison officer. I don't think that would particularly suit this particular client, but I definitely agree with. So priest, nun, ashram staff, yoga or meditation teacher, psychic. Okay, so if we just highlight those, priest, nun, ashram stuff, I think we're going more towards psychic. And anyway, I would be very not an astrologer if I didn't point out the fact that we've got someone here with the sun conjunct Neptune who is already psychic. So I think it's more a question like to get a deck of tarot cards and just do it, because this is a person that will be naturally good at it. I think I'm losing the command of the English language with the heat. Now, talking about Neptune, so Neptune is 21 degrees Scorpio and the sun is 12 degrees, so we've not got not far apart from each other, and we've also got Venus sandwiched on the other side of the sun sign in the 12th. And do you know what? I actually know quite a lot of people that have sun in the 12th. And if I remember rightly, Donna Cunningham herself, who was so kind to me when I first got into... I was already in private practice, but when I first started writing books, she was so encouraging. She was super. She had Leo ascendant, beg pardon, and sun in Cancer in the 12th. She never marketed herself as a psychic as such. However, she was an astrologer, and she was a very, very astute astrologer. And it's so sad that she's in heaven now, which is why I'm constantly banging on about the books that she's written. And if you've never got one of her books, just please get one, or ask me for them, because I've got numbers of them sat on my hard drive that are ebooks of hers I'm happy to share with you, on the understanding you don't go lobbing them up onto the internet, because I'll come back and I'll bash you. So we've got someone with sun in the 12th. They need to be in the background, not the foreground. And the scary thing is, if you were to set yourself up, Sharon, as a psychic reader, you would then be frazzled by the fact that you would have to seemingly, because this is what everybody said, oh, you're going to have a social media presence. I know you don't have one. Okay, I do know that you have, you are on the internet, don't get me wrong, but you don't post, okay? Because, and I don't encourage you to either, because you're not going to like doing it. You don't like putting yourself in front of other people. And the best way to be a psychic when you get to your 3rd trimester of life is to just start doing it. And the best thing to do is to find a local event somewhere that allows you to rent a table and do readings, and just chuck yourself in at the deep end. And if all you do is lay 3 cards out for people for 15 minutes and then just waffle about the 3 cards that they've got and let them talk for 9 minutes out of the 10 minutes, you'll start making money, because people like to be heard. Okay, really important. And anyway, quite a lot of times when people go for tarot readings, 9 times out of 10 they know what the cards are anyway, and they're super interested. They'll probably tell you what the meanings of the cards are. I've had that happen, which is funny. Now, our second question is, because I'm just answering the questions. I'm not going through the chart. I went through the chart last week. You'll have to go back and hear what I said. Sorry, I'm a bit stroppy today, aren't I? Oh. Can you notice any family inheritance in my chart, and when do you see it? Okay, so here's your question now. Which house is the house of inheritance? Hello? The 8th house. And what have we got in the 8th house? We've got Moon in Leo conjunct Jupiter in Leo in the 8th house. Now, I am using equal house system. I'm sure it'll turn up in a different house in another methodology. But if you're asking me and I'm using the equal house, I'll say, oh, well, I would expect there to be some inheritance now that Jupiter is transiting through the flipping sign of Leo. Let me check where Jupiter is at the moment, because I don't know if we actually have any Jupiter around. Hold on. Oh, that's opportune. Do you know, I didn't check this beforehand. Jupiter is 4 degrees at the moment. So in episode 498, I covered the 3 outer planets being 4 degrees. People are calling it now the Babu basket or something. It's like, hey, nothing like giving something a new name, making it sound a bit more unique than it is. So transiting Jupiter is 4 degrees. And guess what Sharon's got natally in her chart? Jupiter 4 degrees. Now, inheritance is what's been asked here. Can you notice any family inheritance? I haven't asked whether or not the parents are still alive. That would be a bit of a rude question to ask anyway. I think what she's put here, my relationship with my mother is, so dad passed in January 2018 and mum's still alive but was diagnosed with dementia last year. I don't know what your mum's financial situation is, but just looking at your own chart, you've got Jupiter 4 degrees in the sign of Leo in the 8th house. I would be very surprised if nothing happened like today, because Jupiter is 4 degrees today. It's going to be 4 degrees today, tomorrow, so it goes Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. That's exactly 4 degrees. It won't return back to 4 degrees again this year, I don't think. Hold it. It starts retrograding in December and goes back into, no, it's gone further into the sign of. So I'm thinking now and talking about, if you're wondering what the heck I'm up to, I'm looking at the ephemeris to see if Jupiter goes back to 4 degrees in its retrograde state. It goes back to 17 degrees, so it's not going to come back to 4. So now's your chance. So unless your mum dies today, I'm not laughing, I'm just the humour of planets returning to places. I wouldn't be surprised if in your Jupiter return, so that's every 12 years, so you need to think back now, showing 12 years prior to today, what went on? Was there anything financially? So when you've got a relative that's going to pass over, asking me the question, are you going to inherit, implies that you're concerned that you might not. Is there someone else in your family that's likely to block that from happening? Let me just check your email. You don't mention about any siblings. That's interesting. You've got 3 daughters yourself and 10 plus grandchildren. You put 10 plus 1 grandchildren and a dog, and you've been married for 37 years to your husband. But there's no mention of siblings. That's interesting. So why wouldn't you inherit? Can I notice any inheritance? Family inheritance in my chart, and when do you see it? Well, do you know, I'd be inclined to say I'd be very surprised if it doesn't happen whilst Jupiter's returning. But it's more a question of things go sort of appear in the 8th house, because 8th house is the house to do with inheritance and other people's money. Your sun sign Scorpio, so 8th house is very important. However, have got sun and moon square, so you do need to listen. I will send you the links afterwards. You do need to listen to the sun moon square podcast that I've got, because you'll spend a lot of your life working against your own best interests, which isn't helpful for you or your interests. But I would be surprised if there was no money coming your way in the next year. So it could be your mum's got diagnosed with dementia. She was diagnosed last year, 2025. Yeah, it depends what type of dementia your mother has, because sometimes it can rapidly go downhill, and then it ends up being in a care home, and then it ends up... I also think, because your first question is what's the best job for me, I would have thought if your mum's still alive and she's suffering from dementia, you don't want a 9-to-5 flipping job anyway. You don't want to earn loads of money. I know you'd like to, but what would be the point? Because you might have to drop everything at some given point and go and care for your mum a bit more. I do recommend that you get the book Safe Journey Home by Felicity Warner, which I've plugged quite a few times, because that book will help your mother pass over, because you say that your relationship with your mum is quite close and always has been. I haven't got a chart, so I can't comment on that. So you're coming up to your blah 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 birthday this year, and you do feel that you need to work to pay the bills, although your husband works full time, and you use the word just, so please rephrase that. Just work a home job earning just pocket money, really. You've used the word just twice. You're completely putting down the abilities that you've got. So there we go, you're already doing tarot, so that's lovely. I work on a platform doing tarot readings, and you're learning astrology too as we speak. You'd like to continue working from home, being your own boss, and then you've asked, do I think you're on the right track doing what you do already, and what you're learning? Yes is the answer to that one. Next question. You said you'd like to be able to do a column of astrology in a magazine, or work from home looking at others' charts, a bit like I do. So a bit like you do is what she said, yeah. It can be location. She says, I am classed as unemployed, but like I said, I do work from home doing online readings, but it doesn't pay much of a wage. Well, hello, that means you're not charging enough. So you need to charge. I think I've said this before in a previous podcast. Think about how much you want to earn a year. Now, you live in the UK, so that's a giveaway for last week. You live in the US, and the UK laws are you allowed to earn up to £1,000 without paying tax. Anything over £1,000, you've got to register yourself as self-employed. You obviously haven't gone as far as doing that. Okay, so if you're earning less than £1,000 a year, that works out at about £20 a week. That's assuming you're earning £1,000. Okay, so that means you're charging for your clients £20. Now, I've said this before to people that have learnt astrology with me. Think about how much you'd like to earn in a year. Then divide it by, so say you want to earn 10 grand, divide it by the amount of hours that you are prepared to work doing readings. Okay, being realistic about both of those numbers. Okay, so you want to earn, let's just chuck a number out there. So you want to earn £10,000 a year, and you have, let's say, 10 hours a week that you are prepared to put into doing readings. There are 52 weeks in the year. If you divide 10,000 by 52, you get £19. You need to add a bit more to be able to make a profit. So the minimum you should be charging is £25 a reading, assuming that you're going to be doing that amount of hours, 10 hours a week, which I don't think you're doing. I think you're probably doing 2, if that. So you have to get real. Like, if you... please excuse my way that I'm talking to you directly. I'm not having a go. I get quite agitated about people's expectations of what you can do when you're a psychic reader. Yeah. A, you don't do it for nothing. B, you charge a decent amount of money without going crazy. You look locally to where you live and you look at how much does a massage therapist charge or a reflexologist, and then you price yourself the same prices as that. The average price that a massage therapist would charge, a reflexologist, an acupuncturist, and anything ist. What in your locality where you live do those people charge for their sessions? Because they've got a client, especially reflexology, that's sat down with their feet out and they're working on the feet. They can't run out of the room. Okay, so they have to physically be with that person for that amount of time. They'll go out of business if they're not charging enough. So whatever they're charging, that's the same amount or slightly more that you will charge yourself. Now, there's plenty of people out there on the internet, those are the ones that get me cross, that charge ridiculous amounts of money. And I often wonder, do they actually want to have clients? You need to pace your pricing to equivalent to what you work. But going back to that earlier thing, if you want to earn 10 grand a year and you've got 10 hours a week, then you need to be charging a minimum of £25 per session, because running your business costs money. Yeah, and you're going to have to pay the tax man 20% of what you've earned. Okay, so that's because well, assuming you've got no other money coming in. If you live in the UK, you can earn £12,500, I think, without paying any tax at all. So, yeah, there we go. Hope that helps. Oh, and the other thing is that if your husband's earning, okay, it's really, really easy. Now, this, I'm going to speak out to other people that are out there listening. If your partner is earning the main income and you want to make, inverted commas, living, doing what you're doing, and your husband's earning, you are going to have to completely ignore how much he's earning. Because the temptation always is, and I've seen this so much with people, they tell me that they want to earn money. I did a reading for a lady the other day who said those exact things. Her husband was something like a flipping multi-millionaire. She literally, inverted commas, didn't need to work, but wanted to work. Whatever he earns, completely eradicate it from your mind and imagine to yourself, if I wasn't married, okay, if I was not married and I was managing on my own, how much would I need to earn to be able to pay the rent and get some food and all the rest of it? Yeah. So the fact that your husband earns and works full-time has got nothing to do with it. What you need to be thinking of is he expecting you to have the dinner on the table when you get home? Because if you, for instance, was working 40 hours a week and he's working 40 hours a week, he's going to get a bit grumpy thinking he's going out and providing for you, and he gets home and you haven't done any cooking for him or her, whichever way round you go. So you're already doing tarot readings, carry on doing them, but charge a bit more. Do more than what you're doing at the minute. Make yourself more available. Set aside in your diary, and I've talked about this one before, that when you go into private practice, you get a diary, a proper physical piece of paper diary. You look at next week, you write into your diary the hours that you are quite happy to work. I still do this myself because I do it on my booking app, right? I even do it in my physical diary as well when it goes a bit quiet. I write in there, client on Tuesday, that books a triple session or whatever. You write into the diary when you're available and you want your client to be, and you put a gap in there and you write the amount of money that you charge. So, I don't know, 10 o'clock Tuesday next week, £77, which would be, okay, £77. And then you're sending a message out to the universe. Bing! Your client will come in. Yeah. But unless you're asking for the universe isn't going to supply for you. Now then, you can do the astrology column. Do it. Do all of it. Yeah. But let's get to the crux of what you've put in there. My hopes are to become an astrologer and start my own business from home reading others' charts. My fears are I feel I will not achieve what I desire and will fail as not good enough. If there's one thing I want to highlight, is I'd like you to write down what you've just written to me in big capital letters somewhere and look at it. Looking at that, do you know, I'm going to highlight that and I'm going to make it bigger. Look at that. what you've just told yourself, the Sun Moon Square, this is what happens. My fears are, I feel I will not achieve what I desire, and I will fail as not good enough. Now, you've got Moon in Leo conjunct Jupiter. There is no way a Moon in Leo conjunct Jupiter person will ever say they're not good enough. Which one of your parents said to you when you were smaller that you were not good enough? Might not have been your parents, it might have been a teacher at school, or if you've got any siblings, might have been a sibling, yeah? That's not in your chart, that you will fail and not be good enough. It could be because the Sun and Moon are square and you'll pick up quite quickly from other people the negative stuff, because the disadvantage of the Sun and Moon square is that there's this constant thing going on in your mind, am I good enough, and blah 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 blah. So I have that, I've got Sun and Moon square and I work on it, but that's only because I write a journal every day. You've got Mercury in Sagittarius, which forms a nice aspect to your moon. Okay, so Mercury is in Saggy, your moon is in Leo, and that forms a lovely trine. Look at that. Mercury is 3 degrees and the moon is 5 degrees. So actually, if you were to say that out loud to yourself right now, listen to the podcast, I will not achieve what I desire and I'll fail. What about turning it around? I will achieve what I desire and I am good enough. Rephrase that. Oh, does it sound like I'm having a go at you? Good. You need me to have a go at you. I will, so repeat after me, I will achieve what I desire and I am good enough. There we go. In fact, I don't even like the good enough thing. I will achieve what I desire and I am fab. Okay, that's what your moon in Leo wants to hear, that you're absolutely fab. Moon in Leo people, especially conjunct Jupiter, really truly need to hear nice fluffy stuff from other people. They love to have the plaque on the wall that is they want somebody to come up to them and go, well done, well done. Then do it yourself. If no one else does it to you, do it yourself. Do the lovely thing by Louise Hay. She gets you to do mirror work. I know she's in heaven now. And you look in the mirror, mirror at home, okay, and you look at yourself and you say one nice thing about yourself to yourself out aloud when everybody else is out of the house and they can't hear you. So you say something like, even if it can't be your own body, because that's a beautiful necklace you're wearing, or I love your earrings, or your hair is beautiful, whatever, something nice to yourself. Better to say about something nice like lovely coloured eyes or beautiful smile, something nice and positive. And anyway, by the way, you're going to get the free hypnosis tracks on my website, but I think you might listen to a few confidence ones, because somewhere along the line you have lost your confidence. And I expect that happened when you had your Saturn return, because you've got Saturn in the sign of Pisces, and I expect when your Saturn returned, because I think that's probably the issue in your chart, you've got Saturn in Pisces retrograde in your 4th house. When you were growing up, someone was really, really strict. You probably think that's fine. It's fine that they were strict, but being too strict is not helpful. I think you need to do your dad's chart and your mum's chart and compare them. And you said you cannot recall any issues that happened to your mum when you were 1 year old. Can you recap on what this could be, Mary? Yeah, what I'm talking about is you've got Moon in the sign of Leo and Jupiter in the sign of Leo. They're only 1 degree apart. So when you were born, Jupiter would have moved forwards and it wouldn't have taken long to get conjunct to your moon. There's only 1 degree apart from them. If we're talking about solar arcs, it can indicate that something happened because there's only 1 degree between the two of them. So that's the episode you need to listen to on solar arcs. And can I expand? Well, I'm not doing a psychic reading here, I'm doing astrology, but the moon represents the mother, Jupiter represents higher learning, etc. At 1 year old, the challenge could have been that it took your mother a whole year to appreciate the fact that you'd been born. Maybe there was something tricky about your actual birth, maybe you were a cesarean, or I don't know, you got Saggy ascendant and there's nothing going on with the ascendant. 7 degrees, I don't think aspects anything in a critical way, and your Mercury's there because Mercury's in the 12th, but it could be, because I haven't got her chart so I can't compare, that there was something about, maybe you were the first child, only child, second child, 10th child or whatever, something about your birth or caught up with it that she might never have told you, might not know about. But that's why I said that. So it was probably just a drop away comment, but there's only 1 degree between the two things, and there's only 1 degree between your Venus and your Sun, because your Venus is 11 and your Sun is 12. So again, solar arcs were saying something went on when you were 1, or during the first year of your life. So unfortunately your father's passed and your mother might not remember, but ask an auntie or something. But that's where that came from astrologically. So we've just done a little skip around Sharon's chart. I hope I haven't given away too much, though, that it ruins the competition. I don't think I have. We have got a massive opposition between Mars, Jupiter, Uranus and Saturn. So you really don't want to do standard stuff. So Auntie Mary's advice is carry on with the tarot. What's wrong with that? There's never enough tarot people out in the world there. It's not as if the world's been flooded by people reading tarot. The ones that last, and you've got sun and moon in a fixed sign, the ones that last, they've got the ones that carry on doing it. It's the mutable signs that tend to give up with stuff, and you're not mutable. I know you've got mutable ascendant, and actually maybe that's the issue here. The Sagittarius ascendant, so the ruler to your chart is Jupiter. Jupiter's in the 8th. You've got your Mercury in the 12th, which is hidden. So the Saggy ascendant is you sort of think that you should be travelling more or connecting with people from other countries or whatever. No, read locally. And if you're too shy to do that, then do it online. I presume you've got a Facebook page. 99.9% of people have got one. Then start sticking on your Facebook page where you are available and how to book with you. Yeah, but you need to earn more than £1,000 a year, otherwise what's the point? You need to earn a few grand at least. You can earn up to 12 without paying any tax, because it doesn't matter at all how much your husband earns. We've all got our own personal tax allowance. So you're allowed to earn £12,500 before you have to pay any tax. I think it's 12. There is that. Well, let me give you the exact amount, because we're speaking to somebody who's in the UK. I'll tell you, hold on. Oh, I remembered it pretty well. £12,570. So it was only £70 out. You're allowed to earn that before you pay any tax. Whoopee, that's loads of money, and if your husband's earning as well. What I do recommend, though, so going back to the fact that you've got Sun in the 12th and you are a Scorpio, you've got Moon in a very generous sign, is think of a charity that you would like to donate a regular amount of money to, and start doing that now. Years ago, I followed a lady that wrote a book, I can't remember what the book was called, something like, I don't know, how to increase your income or whatever. But one of the things she urged was have a regular bank account and have a separate account that you use to give money to charity for, and make sure that's always regularly paying money out. And I still do that. So I've got my normal bank account. I've got a separate little section in my bank. I don't even know what it's called. It's not even a savings account. It's another account linked to my bank account. And I lob a couple of bob in there every now and again, and then I use it to give to good causes. I don't earn heaps, so it's not loads of money, but it's better than a poke in the eye. But the point is that you are not just putting the own, because I know you won't like that all of the money you make is, because that's probably why you're not charging enough either. We're talking about your values now. It's, if you can say the reason I'm working is not just for money, because doing anything just for money is an awful reason. You're doing it so that you can give some money to your local hospice, or give something to your local homeless charity. These are the ones that I support. Give your money to whatever crisis is in another country or whatever, then you pay this regular amount, or not regular, whatever, but that you're working and some of your money is going to some good as well. Then you can remember that when you're charging your client, whatever it is, more than £25, thank you very much, that you're charging your client this, that a percentage of that is going to a good cause. Yeah, could be that you decide to donate half of it. That might upset your husband. I don't think your kids would be bothered. And do I know if your children are still at home? That I don't know. And then the other thing to keep in mind, just as a logical thing, you have got 3 kiddies, so you can't work too many hours either, because being a mother, assuming they're still at home, is a full-time job. Okay, so I do work a lot with mothers, that want to earn an income. You've got to fit it in with the kids, and the kids are more important than whatever job it is that you do. Sorry about that, but until they leave home and they've got their own flats and jobs and boyfriends and husbands and la 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 la, your job as their parent is to look after them. That's the number one priority. But whatever spare time you've got, because they're at school or they're at summer camp or something, then you can work those hours. Yeah, what I don't want you to do is to be working so many hours that your kiddie comes to ask you some advice on the homework and you go, I can't do that at the moment, I've got a client. That only needs to happen if you're a single parent. That's a different thing altogether. You're happily married, you've been together for 37 years, you've got a dog, you've got to take the doggy out for a walk as well. There's a limited amount of hours that you're going to have a week, but set it aside in your diary next week, plonk in there what you want, and then the universe will start. Trust. Why wouldn't the universe want you to? Tarot readers are fabulous. Astrologers are equally fabulous, if not more so. So today we've been discussing the chart from episode 500. I'm suffering from the heat. Oh, actually, the other thing I need to tell you is that I tried some tea out from Marks and Spencer's this morning. Actually, maybe you can tell by the way I'm talking. And I made myself a pot of this tea. And I swear it was the strongest tea I've ever had in my whole life. Now, I do like strong tea, but the colour of it was so dark. And I was thinking, you know, this seems a bit strong. So maybe it sounds as if I've had 6 snorts of cocaine or something, but I'm a little bit allergic to caffeine. And I think that might be the problem today. So someone went, what happened to Mary today? Blame Marks and Spencer's. I have thrown the tea away now. It just was too strong. It was supposed to be a loose leaf tea. It wasn't tea, it was dust. It was the same tea that you'd get in a tea bag, but they said it was loose leaf tea, and I've drunk, and I like loose leaf tea, but it was cheap, so it was hopeless. So I think I'm speeding at the moment. I need to go and have a lie down. So I hope you have a fab week, and not next week but the week after we're speaking to Tina, and she is the owner, a partial owner, I think she's a partnership for the Astro Moon Diary. So we're going to be talking to her. Very, very interesting. Can't wait till that. I'm hoping to interview Robert Curry. It's very busy at the moment, but hopefully I'll be able to pin him down. And I hope you have a fab week, and I'll be back next week. Bye bye now.